Hello one and all and welcome to episode 28 of the Contest Round podcast. We took a little break last week, so 27 was 2 weeks ago, I want to say. 2 weeks ago. So it's been a little time, but hopefully you're grinding the game whilst listening to us, because that's what we like to hear, I'd say see. We can't look at you now, or maybe we are. Maybe we have the surveillance to do that. We have the tools, we have the resources. No, we don't. We're not like that. Anyway, the podcast is available on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iTunes podcasts. Links are always in the bios, and you should be following us in order to know when these things ping up. So yes, episode 28 is going to be a fun one. It's kind of done on the fly. There's a lot of stuff we need to go over, but as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Dan of Frontline MCOC.
Hey, Rich.
Hello.
How we doing?
I'm good. Are you good?
I'm good, man. I am back. I'm refreshed, and man, is it a busy time in game right now. So much going on.
It is, and I think trying to squeeze in older content and stuff. I'm planning together like what I'm doing, and I'm thinking now like setting myself targets. Okay, by end of play today, I want 100% uncollected. I want to then, as of tomorrow, do more of my Act 6.2 to try and 100% that over the next 2 days, but I think it's too ambitious, so it'll probably be the weekend. Then we've got Back Issues 5 coming out, aka Variant 5, and then it's like, look, do I get in the Crystal's Human Torch? And then it's a case of looking towards Abyss of Legends, or I use Void, an Awakened Void, rather than have to waste my generic Awakening Gem. You know, God, life's complicated when you make it more complicated for yourself. I guess you've got similar plans, haven't you?
So yeah, there's so much content, and there's so many timers in game right now, right? Like we've got the event quest, we've got the side quest, and it really depends on what rewards you want. So you have to choose what day you're going to play those, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to think that maybe there's some arena that you need to do.
Yeah.
We've got the boss rushes dropping every week now. We've got Variant 5 coming out next week, and then we're looking at the first Summoner Showdown in another week. So there's just so much content in the game right now. We have gone from a couple of very dry months to just this deluge of content. And I think, like you were saying, you have to be very structured and goal-oriented in how you're going to work through it all so it just doesn't drive you insane. Like, you do want to have fun while you're doing this. You don't want to just be like, oh, I got to get this done so I don't have a massive case of FOMO. So, like, I would just say, like, make your goals, folks. Look at the timers. If you're trying to get everything done, do the stuff that's going to expire first, and then work from there so that you have the maximum amount of time to do the content. I know everyone loves to do the boss rush 10 seconds after they drop, but those things aren't expiring for what, like 5 or 6 weeks from now? So you have the time. Those rewards will be there. Make sure you're not slacking on the event quest or the side quest, because those are going to expire first, and there's some really good rewards in the side quest if you can do Herald difficulty.
Yeah, I've got to put together. I was gonna commit myself to doing every single day to kind of see what they were like, and I just didn't work out my schedule. It's just how it goes. Sometimes I have these intentions to do like all these videos and stuff, but just edit time sometimes takes a lot. I have to constantly explain to people that, you know, Marvel Contest Champions News, even though it looks like a quite a basic build, it is a 5-hour show. It's 5 hours from start to finish, from research, from recording, to then editing process, to then thumbnail creation and putting it up there. And it's just sometimes I kind of go like, right, I've done that. I've then got do I do a just click record and done type content, and I'm just most of the time like I just can't really. I don't think that shows any kind of great evolution for me as a creator if I don't put at least more than 30 plus minutes work into something. I wouldn't really want to cheapen out my vision for what I want to produce with my channel. But I was like, yeah, let's do the Mysterio one, let's do the Friday Doctor Doom one, and then I'm like, I don't have the time now. I'm maxed out my time I can require before then the weekend comes around, and life hits hard. It's more so if you've got children and other stuff.
No, I totally know what you're talking about. I have my own daily production calendar for Frontline, and I think much like you, right? Like you fill in the regular stuff that you're going to do every week. That's sort of your bread and butter, and it is standard. Like there's certain stuff either on a weekly or monthly basis that I think is core to Frontline, and I'm going to try to get those things out. So that's like the week ahead stuff, the weekly schedule, which then of course becomes my daily schedule. Content, the podcast every Sunday, certain things like account updates every 3 months, breakdowns of the side quest, just things that seem to be working well, and then adding in things on top of that. But sometimes actually all the time, I should say, I run out of time do the extras because I get messages and very well-meaning messages. People will be like, hey, like I like some of the champion guides. Would you do more of those? I was like, listen, I would love to, but it takes about 10 hours to do a champion guide.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I would love to do more of the new champ reviews, but it doesn't. First of all, everyone's doing them, right? Like as soon as the embargo hits, like we know that there's going to be 25 Airwalker videos on YouTube. So it's like, like, how am I going to compete with that? Like, I'm not bringing anything really unique other than my personal view of the champion, which, okay, that's great. But it's not like there's a lack of content for people that need to know about Airwalker. I mean, am I going to break down Airwalker in a fundamentally different way than you or Seaton or Katie or Cam does? Like they're all going to do good stuff, and I feel like that base has been covered. So I'm trying to do the stuff that I feel like A, isn't getting covered by other people, and B, I can do really well, right? In a way, like when I look at this week on the site, like the whole Herald difficulty thing, like blew up the site traffic, and I think this week will actually end up being the best week for traffic on the site, just based on my breakdown of how Herald difficulty works. I found that when Kabam releases a very intricate and somewhat confusing side quest, that is very good for my site traffic.
Yeah, there seems to be either Kabam
like, how does it work?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's like whether or not Kabam was saying a question. We do the thing, you do the other thing, blah 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 blah, and everyone's there like, say what? Come on,
they're like,
we want more.
Can I back out? Can I do what? It's the simple stuff. It's like you can almost check the boxes. Like, can I do all the difficulty levels? Can I get all the rewards? If I back out, do I get my tickets back? Can I run the same quest more than once a day? And then, of course, that was bugged, which created a whole nother level of people checking. It's like, wait, are you sure? It's like, dude, they said we could do this.
Yeah.
And then they had to fix that. But you know what I mean? Like when you've got a side quest that needs a lot of explanation, the community tends to need a lot of help there.
Yeah.
And I've found that written content can be very good for that, because like it's very easy in an article for me to explain the tickets in like one sentence and people to be able to find that. Like you can't control F entry into a video and go to like, oh, okay, at like 8 minutes and 20 seconds, like they're talking about the tickets. So there's some stuff that does work really well. That's usually the stuff that's not directly gameplay related works really well for me in the written format, and I try to help people that way. And it's gotten to the point where, especially with the side quests, I get messages like a week before we have the info and like, dude, you're gonna do it, right? Like you're gonna write about the side quest. It's like, don't worry, I've seen the site traffic metrics. I know you guys care about this, and it's not about like, oh, like I want to chase the views. It's more just like clearly the audience is telling you there's a need for this. So let's go in that direction, right?
Yeah, that makes total sense. Now you said something that was very true, and it's coming up with like we were talking about this in the Friday stream, the incursion stream, which we do every Friday. Myself and Dan do an incursion stream of maybe I'd say more than likely an obscure character or an obscure champion, an underappreciated champion. Maybe pair it up with a few synergies and look to see what it can do in incursions, because at the end of the day there will be loads of and I use in like quotations, god tier champions that that players will go to always take into sector 7, sector 6, and these are the go-to ones. And what myself and Dan, we're trying to find something, a diamond in the rough, a underappreciated champion. And this series that we've done, we started this about 5 weeks ago, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
There's been some very interesting things that we've found from this, and our champion of choice was Guillotine. And the point that I'm getting to is that original content within MCOC, I think I've only seen like a couple of other people do something similar. So it's always nice, I think, to do something new for the community. So that's, anyway, if anybody wants to come on a Friday, it's on Dan's YouTube channel and on my Twitch. We'll deep dive a champion. We'll try and use different synergies, but using Guillotine, I know a lot of people were interested in who we were using. So we chose, with Dan, you went with Night Thrasher and Ronin.
Yep,
yeah.
Ronin.
I went with Morningstar and Night Thrasher. And I know that there were many people saying, oh, you could use Gamora, and for the purpose of the video, I'll put on the screen now that particular synergy, which is that add Gamora in to activate Huntress of the Contest synergy bonus, where Gamora gets, oh no, wrong one. Guillotine has 50% chance when striking a bleeding opponent to gain a soul charge, 10 seconds cooldown, which is very important. You build soul charges, and that's your means for regeneration if you've got the awakened ability. Is that correct, Dan?
Yeah, you need her awakened ability to get the lifesteal. So I think Guillotine probably doesn't have a lot of value in incursions if she's unduped.
Yeah.
But when she is duped, that lifesteal is legit.
Yeah.
She is an incredibly sustainable champion. And although we were building synergy teams, I don't think that she needs any of the synergies. I think they're nice if you want to build the team around her, but you could certainly put her on the team as a sort of solo one-off champion. And she can actually be your main damage dealer and clearer for incursions, right? Like you could bring Guillotine and she's your sustainable regular champ, and then you bring a couple utility champs for immunities and maybe some very specific uses, and she can take you far.
Yeah, I know that one thing we were trying to do, and what on my side, what I do is I'll kind of be taking some I've got like a tick sheet basically, all my notes for stuff. I mean, it was interesting to find some very obscure things pop up from time to time. As the champion possesses a bleed debuff, it is nice to have the debuff reinforcement to improve the potency of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But as well, we were finding some obscure ones because the champion doesn't possess any buffs. We were looking at ideas, and one thing that was really cool was to have a Tide of Combat.
Tide of Combat was good. Martial Artist was really good. She's not really your standard incursion buff cornucopia champion.
But if you do have the Tide of Combat on, you get that Fury buff,
right?
Which is nice. If you've got both of them, it worked for a time. I will be incorporating that into tomorrow's incursions video of that champion. So yeah. I mean, yeah, in principle, it's a case that most champions could get Tide of Combat, and then get something like buff cornucopia. But it is just nice to find a champion that you're creating that has the full package. The idea that they can regen off of their signature ability, and as well having allocation to get a buff which then leads on to other things as well. Yeah, you could use stuff like Heimdall synergy with, but you have to be very careful with incursions, because you will find, and what we found was that sometimes you'll get nodes which are just, they're just god awful, and you're not having the right champions for it. We were quite fortunate, because we've had some times where we've had non-bleed champions on our team and have been subdued into quite minimal rooms, so zones even. So it was nice to go a lot further than we normally do, but I think that comes with a good pair up and good champion that we were doing.
Yeah, I think we got pretty lucky because we didn't get a lot of science bosses, but we both had skill champions on reserve. So Night Thrasher and Ronan actually did come in handy in a couple cases. So that was nice. And some of the times the buffs really played in our favor. Like I tended to be seeing a lot of arc overload. Yeah. And if you know anything about Guillotine, she can reverse healing with her special too. So arc overload, you love to see that on a boss, right? Because you're just gonna wait for that timer to tick down, launch your special two, and let the heal reversal do the work for you. The other thing that's great about Guillotine, and I saw this in the chat, is people were like, I haven't really played Guillotine. I don't really know how to play her. Like, she's very intuitive. The great part about Guillotine is you don't have to do anything special, right? You just play your game.
Yeah.
And like that life transfer is going to happen automatically. It's not like Morningstar where you got to capture the 5 souls and then you've got it, or say like a bishop where you've got to build the prowess and then absorb it by holding block. Like Guillotine's just going to let all of that happen in the background. You're not sort of playing this roulette wheel with buff cornucopia where you're like, all right, hopefully if I trigger a fury buff cornucopia is going to activate a regen. It's all happening there in the background, and it makes her very simple to play because you don't have to think about much other than what the opponent's trying to deal, whatever you have to deal with from the opponent's side of you, whatever they bring to the fight. It's not like, I have to play all these games and jump through all these hoops to get my damage or get my regen.
Yeah. So that was very good to have that champion that literally just ticks a lot of boxes, not hard to use, very straightforward, fun. That made a change to have fun with that particular champion.
Oh yeah. I've always liked her, but it was an eye opener because I've never really played her as like a main damage dealer, and for sustainability's sake, she's just so sustainable.
Yeah, I think I would love to have a rank 5 version or a 6-star rank 3 in incursions, just to see what extras are there when it comes to stackable damage, how further you could go. Would we able to do would we go into sector 7 with it? Will the new buffs for the new version of incursions coming at some point, whenever that will be, or an upgraded incursions, will it be again a good champion for that? If you go up against an Ultron boss, would it be the Age of Ultron version, and then when you get the regen, just literally like spanks them on the regen when that happens? So many fundamentals. Could be a good champion in the future. I'm hopeful. Yeah,
I think she's a very solid option.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we now turn our attention to what happened last week. I think a lot happened last week, and we've talked about the idea that there's content coming left, right, and center. What to start with? What to pick with, Dan?
I think we've got to start with 28.0 because it was a little bit of a rough entry for that update. There was timers were off, incursion screens were a little bit glitchy. I feel there was a couple issues with that, specifically around the side quest and that not rewarding people properly for multiple clears. So it was not the best launch for that update, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know if this. Well, I don't know if these were knock-on effects from the stability issues of the week prior, but it's it's difficult, I think, to get once one is in said issues, to get one out again will take time.
Right.
I don't think we'll properly see proper stability things back in play until next month. I think we'll try and be hopeful for what will be. Well, I don't know if it will be called 28.1 or will it be?
It is 28.1. They've already
28.1.
Yeah. They've already released that info because it's in with the champion buffs. So we know Magneto buffs are coming next month in 28.1.
Right. So if anybody wants to find out, that's when you're going to get Magneto. I think we've been quite we've been giving that info for a while, that it's end of the month. I think even Kabam said it was going to be the thing is, the way they do it, they go like, it's coming in August, and you go, 28.0. No, it's end of August. Oh yeah,
end of August.
But that's the update, isn't it? No, that's because of the way the month works. It will be that you will get the update on literally the last day of the month, provided it falls on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning.
That's I mean, that's what I expect, because the event quest is expiring on Wednesday, September 2nd. So the most likely date for the update is August 31st, which is a Monday.
Yeah. So if you want to know, that's when it's going to drop. But I wasn't, Dan, I was a little bit annoyed with the previous, with July, because I got it wrong. We did not receive a Wolverine arena.
We did not. I don't know if they pushed it back because of the stability issues, but does that mean that the iPhone specific bundle is still the only way people have had to acquire a 5-star Wolverine?
What seems to be correct. I think there was a little crystal bundle of some kind that was put out either in the unit store, I want to say, or it was a combined thing that was put out in both stores. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like I wouldn't say something that's made me angry, because I'm not going to get angry at a mobile game.
Right.
But it has made me a little annoyed not to see it in more of it. I was hoping for featured Cavaliers, and this is the thing with a 5-star Scarlet Witch that would be, if I am now going to expect that champion, I have to wait for early access bundles. I mean, good for me. I'm not going to be spending much on them when they come out. So that's going to be bad news for Kabam making money, and good news for me for money that goes back into my pocket. I say my pocket. It's going to go into my office revamp and saving up for my wedding. So, yay for me. Boo for Kabam. Kabam boo. Very funny.
Kabam boo. We love Kabam boo.
We do love Kabam boo. Although
she's awesome.
Is she a she though?
Yes, I'm like 99% sure about that.
Okay, right. I think nowadays I'm not going to like say, oh, you're a, because it might be wrong. But I did, as a joke, send her a bee emoji. Yeah. And it took a little while for her to get it, to get the joke there. I mean, I'll let that sink in for a moment, and then I'll explain to people. Because it's a B and it's Kabam Boo, so it's Booby. There you go. So that's for that moment that people go like, "Eh, what is it? I do not get the joke. What is he? What is it? It's Anyway, moving on. Yes, Dan. What else happened last week that we should talk about?
Oh man, so got the new event quest, and seems like people have been pretty cool with it. Haven't seen too many like Airwalker or Dragon Man complaints. And we got the second week of the boss rush, and I actually found week 2 to be a little easier than week 1. I don't know how you feel about that.
I made a mistake with Invisible Woman until I got the right momentum. Initially, I didn't get the fight right, and then I kind of started getting back into the. It's been a while since I fought an Invisible Woman. Most of the other champions were fine, one-shotted them. Yeah. Except for that one, I made just so many bloody mistakes. And sometimes you just go like, oh, why am I making these mistakes?
Yeah, it becomes a comedy of errors. Who are you using?
I used Warlock. Actually, hang on, I've got my notes of what I used. Or did I delete my notes? I probably deleted my notes. Yes, I did delete my notes from that. Oh, I've put them somewhere else. I'm pretty certain I used Warlock for a good chunk of this. Fight, Human Torch. I think I used Colossus. I want to say. And Colossus for a few other the fights as well. I just found that he was able to just really kind of like chop and damage relatively well. And there's a few other ones that if I can remember, Dan, I would tell you. Who did you use?
Gotcha. I used Nick Fury.
Oh, nice.
My newly duped, rank 5-star Nick Fury, and I've been in that club's like, okay, like I've heard a lot of good things about Nick Fury. I know he's useful for some fights, but this was the first time I really kind of turned him loose against that Ebony Maw that's before the Invisible Woman, and then Invisible Woman herself, and really getting the benefit of his anti-miss mechanic. And that was an eye-opener because he just shredded those fights and made it really simple. It was like, okay, guys, I see what you were talking about. He's legit. I agree.
I didn't consider him.
It was good. Yeah, no, he was awesome.
Him.
Yeah, no, he made those fights pretty basic.
Nice.
Yep.
I think the Herald difficulty. That's another thing to talk about. The dailies with them.
Right.
For some, we're a bit kind of, this is a bit OTT. For other, I think that Arcus fight was a little bit of not exactly the best.
Need a specific counter for him, and I think a lot of people went in day one blind.
Yeah.
And he is not the guy you want to see at the end of the map.
No.
If you don't have a counter and you can't back out.
Yeah.
Like that is not a good recipe.
No, I must try out. I think it's today's when it goes in, and I want to try. No, it's just today. Today I want to try out for the shards and see how that goes. Or is it tomorrow? I can't remember if it's today or tomorrow for the shards. It's one of the two.
It should be changing to shards in about 90 minutes from when we're talking right now.
I think I'll try out today's. I might record it and then see about making a video, but it's kind of like it's redundant now because it's like the day. Well, I can make it for tomorrow morning. We'll see, but just see how different that is, because I know we had Doctor Doom as the end boss for Fridays, so it's just finding out whether or not today's would be something to say to people. Look, guys, this is a more straightforward one because of this, and this reason, and because of the nodes that are present in there. So I'm looking forward to today's. Have you tried any others apart from Wednesday's? Did you try Wednesday's Arcus?
No, I actually haven't used a single ticket yet. I've been holding on to them and just really felt like there was some other content that I wanted to catch up with as far as arena and the boss rushes, because I actually hadn't done week 1 yet. So I wanted to catch up on that. Had a couple openings I was going to do. So it's one of those things like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it when I get to it. You know what I mean? You can only do so much. So I definitely am going shards, though. Like, there's so many 6-star shards in Herald difficulty and the generic 5-star Sig Stones. It's like you're giving me all the stuff I want. And from a rank up material side, like I am getting rank up materials, the high end stuff, the T5B, the T2A, so quickly. I'm legit worried about having enough gold to spend them all.
This is the problem I have now. I've now gone through a push to rank up champions, but I'm lacking ISO and gold, and it will come to a point where I'm looking forward to content now for gold and shards in order to get ISO and the gold. So
luckily Herald difficulty has a bunch of gold in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that adds up. I think it's like 100. I think it's like 80,000 gold over the month for Herald difficulty, and usually variants have a chunk of gold as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting. I never try to open my battle chips and especially my gold crystals except when the boost is on, which is usually only once a year, maybe twice. So I might get a little desperate and have to cash those in if things get real tight, but hopefully I can avoid that.
Yeah. Oh, new content. Yeah. Variant 5 dropping next week.
So excited about that.
That is something that Okay, just to put something interesting out there. I'm not saying that the content that Kabam isn't interesting, but it's something that pushes a narrative of use where most other content, it's like there's not a narrative of, if you use this champion you get that bonus. There is stuff out there, it's not to say there isn't, but this one is like, right, well, if you use I believe Mystic champions and Spider-Verse champions
and Symbiote
Symbiote
third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be amazing.
Yeah, it's what's great about the variants, like you're saying, it has this narrative of use, but in a rewarding sense, not in a restrictive sense, right? Like, it's not like some of the stuff we saw in book 2 where it's like, all right, you're restricted to Ghost and Quake if you want to clear this efficiently. Where this is like, hey, do you want to try playing Venom? Well, symbiotes are going to get this cool bonus, right? Or Mystics might get this cool bonus. So I think our girl Guillotine might end up being really cool for some of the Mystic chapters. And there's so many good Mystic champions. There's so many good symbiotes already. The Spider-Verse might be a little more limited, but let's see what they do with it. Obviously, Stark Spider-Man and Stealthy are 2 quality champions, but can they do something to make Miles or OG Spider-Man like fun and playable in the quest?
Yeah,
like they did with, say, Dormammu in Variant 2.
That's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's finally here. We've been talking about the release of Variant 5 since we began the podcast in January. every single month, probably since like episode 1, we've been like, I really hope they get around to Variant 5 this week. So you go back through the archives and it's all, like every month we're like, oh, where's Variant 5?
Which reminds me, I've just written a quick note to myself that I've got to do a video, like a prep, well, not a video, but kind of something to prep myself for Variant 5. So I'm probably going to take a spreadsheet that has all the relevant champions for the particular content, and just maybe put some kind of things like, do they do poison? Do they do this? Do they do that? And then kind of like use it as a subsection of knowledge that I can then utilize for maybe a video creation or something. So it's always important to do that, guys. It's being prepared as much as possible, and you can find full write-ups on www.frontlinehome.blog. No, it's frontlinehomeblog.
mcoc.home.blog.
God, I can remember. See, that's how I'm at frontlinemcoc.home.blog. Links in the bio, obviously, so you can catch up with what Dan's been posting.
Yeah, and just for everyone that's wondering, what's a Spider-Verse, what's a symbiote, Mystic is fairly obvious, and you can search that in-game. But if you do go to Aunt May, they do have a tab for just to look at the symbiotes, and another one that's a spider symbol that's in between the Magneto helmet and the Groot image. For Guardians of the Galaxy, that will show you all of the Spider-Verse characters.
Simple as that, guys. Simple
as that. So it's there. So there's some fun ones to choose from.
Oh, we've covered quite a bit so far. Is there anything more that we should be talking about?
Yes, Rich, because there was finally some MROC news.
Yeah, it's a good reminder Dan has given me that I should be doing it in. I should be over editing so we can put something together. I will do. I definitely will do.
Like a big guitar slide after the MROC news.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like yeah. But, very 80s hair metal.
Yeah, but I should go back to editing it the way that I did, because I didn't do I just kind of knocked out a quick video. I think the problem is it comes by the end of the week and I'm just like. Out of gas.
I hear you.
Yeah, I need to change the setup of my office a bit more so it looks better than it does. So if you go to I'm just checking actually I was just checking some stuff here they've now put it on YouTube, but Marvel Realm of Champions YouTube channel as well as their Facebook are doing a first look, which is at it'll come up with the time zone you are, but the time zone for me is 5 p.m. 5 p.m. tomorrow, and 9 a.m. Pacific time to most other people. So make sure you are tuning on in for the announcement or first look announcement. Because it could be a case it's a first look at the game. It could be a first look on what they're planning to do with the game. But I would say that it's gone too long now without any gameplay. So yes, make sure you're going to tune in for it. I don't know what my hopes are, Dan, for this. I mean, obviously my hopes are that it looks that whatever is there looks really good.
My hope is that the gameplay, one, that we see the gameplay, and that it looks as awesome as all the teaser art that we've seen. The reason I'm excited for Realm so far is Gabriel Frazera's story and artwork in MCOC have been amazing. I really like the Realm story. It looks like it's going to be fun. We know it's going to be real-time PvP. It's not a turn-based game. It's going to be real-time. It's going to have team-based elements to it. I really like the factions. I've been super excited about Pyramid X and having that Apocalypse faction. Although I must admit, the Gamma Horde does interest me, so I may get sucked into an alt account so I can run it around as a Hulk and smash stuff every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I think we want what everyone else wants, right? We want to see gameplay. We want it to be awesome, and a firm release date would be pretty sweet. And if they can't give us that, a release date for a beta, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we don't need a release date for the game if they give us a release date for the beta. Assuming they're going to do a beta.
Yeah. What are your hopes for a delivery date? Is there a particular date in mind or kind of month that you would go of Q4, which they've said is going to be it? When would you like it delivered out?
I'm expecting it in December.
Yeah, I'm hoping, and I wouldn't say praying for it. It's just that I've got so much on personally, especially with like my MCOC stuff. Is like I've pretty much planned all the content I'm going to make now between now and December. Not in a case of every single video. There's stuff like content that, because all my grind guides have got to be completely redone because there's been so many changes in the last few months and this year that anything I posted in January is all incomplete. So I'm kind of going to try and prepare for that. I'm going to redo a lot of my all my new beginner guides that I did at the start of at the end of last year because they become theoretically out of date with current meta shift champions.
Yeah.
And I need to rebuild. I need to redo my office. So I've been planning the stuff that I'm going to be redoing with it. But I'm planning 1st of September is when I'm going to redo the office because it needs to change. And as well, we've got the Marvel Avengers game, which is going to start beta at next weekend, which I do want to cover and play. But it's just there's a lot on, and as well the shift of MCOC content. There's just so much that
there's only so many hours in the day to do this stuff. Like I could do 80 hours a day or 80 hours a week of frontline and still not run out of stuff. Like you can only do so much.
Yeah, true.
So trying to figure out how this game is going to fit into both my life is like I want to play the game, and also how do I cover the game? How does it tie into what I'm doing with Frontline? Is something I've been thinking a lot about. So I wouldn't mind having a nice long time period where in between, like, all right, they're going to announce on Monday, hopefully we're going to see some gameplay. And if we get a launch date, that would be great because it just gives me a solid schedule to build up into. So selfishly, I wouldn't mind having a few months to prepare.
We also need to spend a bit of time discussing how we're going to break down the Contest Round podcast. Because if people don't get it, we're called the Contest Round podcast because we will cover both games because it interworks with the universe. But we're going to have to find a way to break it down so we please those that are only interested in the MCOC side, and then maybe we do like it's MCOC to start, MROC to finish, and find that kind of balance, which it will be relevant when they do crossover storylines, which they undoubtedly will do because they share the same respective universe. So that's how there's going to be such a better link, because then we're going, oh yeah, well that's a character from the Spider Guild, and then we'll say, well, that links into the universe kind of shift with that champion actually entering a Marvel Contest of Champions, the story arc, blah 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 blah, and how that works in. Okay, Dan, what's your predictions if you could compare, even without even seeing the game? Would you be able to compare it to something, or think that it's going to be like, say, a mix between A and B game, if you could?
No, and only because they have consistently resisted answering that question since the original announcement of the game at New York Comic Con. Like they've told us a few things, right? Like 3v3, PvP, and I think there's going to be a PvE component as well. But the three versus three team-based PvP seems to be the core of this game. But yeah, I mean, we don't know about like what the battlefield's going to look like. What are the different champion abilities going to do? We know customization is going to be huge, so I imagine there's a lot of RPG elements to the game, and certainly a gearing system. But as far as to what the actual gameplay is going to look like, I don't know, because they've just been telling us what it's not. Like they're like, it's not a MOBA, so it's like, okay, like it's not a MOBA, so I don't expect it to look like that. Like what are you, Realm of Champions?
Yeah.
What are you?
See, I always had this theory that it was going to be like Marvel Super War meets some other type of game. I know that it was weird because to see Marvel Super War come out in the way that it was, and even more strange that they didn't decide. Well, NetEase for some reason didn't want to like push into certain markets, and I don't know. They did the same thing with Marvel Duel, and I wanted to play both games, but I'm not. I don't really want to go down the route of going VPNing in order to pick it up, depending on what it does down the line with. And I'm not saying they should or would, kind of like, because of where I'm located, that they could just go, oh well, this obviously is using VPN to kind of like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, the fact is, I had this theory that it would be similar to Marvel Super War, but meeting another kind of more mainstream game. I can't really kind of think off the top of my head, but just the way that it would be presented with different classes, tanks, which they've kind of like said that. I think they said that to a degree. There's going to be like tank classes, healing or mystical, or kind of like.
I would think that they're going to incorporate their own version of the class wheel into this game. Like I think that's worked really well for them in MCOC. So I imagine there's going to be that rock paper scissors element to the game where teamwork's really important. Like it's like, okay, well you need your Iron Man person on your team for this, and you need your sorcerer for this, maybe for healing, and then you send in your Hulk to smash everybody once you've maybe broken their armor and attack them from a distance or something like that. Yeah. So I'm thinking something like that. Do you think we're going to get any more of the champions from Realm in contest before the launch?
Well, my concern is that, and as I've said in the past, if we do get in the next coming months characters that tie into things like, say, Apocalypse, say, I'm looking at the moment, Scar, which I know a lot of people would actually like.
I would love to see Scar. Yeah.
Would it be like in the same kind of? I mean, Scar's different. I think Scar would be somewhat fine-ish because it's not. Well, it is popular, but it's not popular to kind of people to get concerned about likeness to what they've seen in comic books, films, and movies, and
right, kind of stuff. Yeah, like Scar, you've got enough wiggle room there because it's not a Bruce Banner variant, and he, depending on what the storyline they use in Realm, at least from the comics, right? Like he's technically like a cosmic powered Hulk, right? Yeah. Like he's got the gamma, but he's also got the old power, which is this sort of synthetic version of the same power that Galactus uses, right? So that could make for a different spin on the character. I think the version of Shuri they have as the Black Panther
Yeah.
could also be really interesting. And let's face it, we don't have a great Black Panther yet in MCOC. Like, I don't really want to see the Realm Spider Person or the Realm Iron Man
Yeah, I agree.
right now. Like, I think that would be repetitive.
Yeah.
But I think Scar would be cool. Shuri'd be cool if they're going the Baron route. Obviously, Apocalypse has been the most requested character for years.
Yeah.
So that'd be okay.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd like to see it. If Kabam are to put September as being House of X, then it should continue the same kind of way on appearance, having something that kind of looked a bit MROC-ish. For me, wouldn't really. For some, I reckon it would be fine. For me, it would be like, unless you've got the big ass A, you got the belt, you got the blue. It looks like a big mech suit.
You want 90s X-Men the animated series.
Yeah,
Apocalypse if we get him.
Or I will settle for House of X version if Kabam are going with that kind of like that push for. I'm just gonna see if I can.
But not the Pharaoh realm Overlord version.
No, exactly. That would be the one with the not the. Well, it was for a time had the nipple tassels.
The nipple rings apparently did not make the cut in later iterations of the artwork.
Oh,
they were there at launch though.
I tell you what, if we get a New York Comic Con 2021, I've got to put that on my list to kind of like speak to Gabe about and just say, so Apocalypse nipple tassels, what's the deal with them? Why did they go? Also, I have noted, like I've just had a look on the because we're on the MROC, I'm on the MROC waiting page for YouTube. Got to be honest, if you zoom in on Shuri, they've done some Black Panther suit nipples for her. So
wow.
Yeah, I didn't notice that until I was like looking at the kind of the character, and I was like, oh, they got a bit of a nipple complex, I think.
We are drifting into horribly dangerous territory right now.
It is right. Not what I've put together. Kabam. So says a lot. I think it's going to be it's very anticipated. What's going to happen? I really hope tomorrow, which I will be doing a live stream reaction over on my second channel, Rich's Realm, and that will be the go-to place. I will not be covering Marvel Realm of Champions on RichTheMan. It's separated out for a good reason, as I need a more modern channel that deals with something going in a different direction. Yeah, and there are still people out there that don't like the idea of this other game. Obviously, still fear factor of it's something new. Is it something that divides Kabam's attention? Kabam have categorically said no. This is something to completely separate teams. But I know that's it's up to anybody to trust that or not. But yeah, I'm totally up for this tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We've waited a long time.
We waited a very long time, so the hype is real. Now, which house were you going with? Was it Temple of Vashante?
It is. And the way you say it still sounds like a 90s or 90s or 2000s R&B artist. Yeah, what band you in? Vashante. God.
And they probably a lot of dance hits. Yes,
yeah,
I could see that. A lot of keyboards.
There's some people that still haven't. I'm reading actually the live chat for kind of for stuff. The live chat for people that are waiting. I don't know. We're 24 hours.
Right. They've been waiting for 3 days.
They're waiting for 3 days. I actually typed something a while ago. It's gone now. But I did type something saying about something. But people were saying, really, it got delayed? ? It got delayed? What got delayed? What houses you guys going for? I'm going the Spider Guild. There will be too much Spider players. That's a concern. What? I'm going to be the Spider Guild or House of Iron, depending how they play. House of Iron, Spider Guild, Temple of Ashanti, Asgard, Republic, or Wakanda. Wakanda or Ashanti? Come on, Thor, Stormbreaker, and Captain America Mjolnir. That's terrible. Hello. Spider Reaper, no Cap, I'ma go House of the Pyramid. I think that's what it's called. I'm going to the Gamma Horde Hulk. There we go. So people are very spread of what they're going to be. Also saying, come on, Thor, Stormbreaker, and Captain America Mjolnir. You're in the wrong game. This is the wrong game. And I completely disagree with those two characters being put in, except for Cap Mjolnir. That's a different one for. I would say that would be quite good. Yeah, I guess that's really it. Is there anything else you want to cover, Dan?
No, I think we've gone through the week that was. So looking ahead at the calendar real quick, just a huge week, right? So we've got the Realm first look tomorrow. So I'm sure that's going to dominate the news cycle. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, this is actually very fitting. Storm Pyramid X will hit the basic pool on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, New Boss Rush Week 3 and Variant 5 will be released, so a ton of new content. And on Thursday, Airwalker joins the contest as your featured arena champion.
Wow.
So that's what we've got to look forward to in the next 7 days.
Certainly is going to be a busy old week.
Oh, it's going to be a busy week, Rich. You buckle up, bud.
Yeah,
get the coffee brewing because you're going to be making some videos.
Yeah, I'm already kind of like pumped for the week.
Prepare yourself. Yeah,
I'm gonna try and like not be too busy. I think even like I do try to take Tuesdays off to do like writing and admin and stuff and work on other businesses. I'm gonna have to like think about like how I'm gonna have to use that day because we just got so much on to deliver, and then Sunday we'll have to kind of we've probably got to decide what we're gonna do for a champion for incursions on Friday, but. Yeah, I mean, we might even kind of like have to postpone it while we kind of concentrate on all the Variant 5 stuff that's going to be interesting to do. But we'll see what happens. Should be a fun week. What are you up to? I forgot to ask, what are you up to, Dan?
Really, I mean, we're just kind of covering the stuff we've been talking about, particularly the Realm announcement is going to be big for me, and coming up on my 5.5-year anniversary playing MCOC. So
nice.
Looking at getting another account update out. I like to do those every 3 months and really show like how far I've come, what content I've gone through. And of course, if you saw my opening, you know that I acquired Human Torch and Dr. Doom from that epic 18 crystal opening. I went all in on those Science Mystic dual class, and I was rewarded. So got some rank ups to do for sure, and now it's all in on Aegon.
Yeah, I need to... What do I need to do? Yes, I've bought 7 of the dual class crystals. I will probably buy a further 2 and then do an opening. I am delaying it. I know that some people are like, oh, when are you going to do this opening? When are you going to do it? And it's like, well, I'll do it probably on some point next week, or maybe I'll save it for the weekend. I don't know. And I'm hoping to get Human Torch or my Void Awakened. Void is my second choice for taking into Abyss, which will largely be early September, I think. Once I've set up this new office and I can sit down for 10 hours rather than having to be stood up for 10 hours, which isn't very pleasant after a while. And that's what I'm going to do, as well as all these video coverages that we've got to do as well. There's going to be loads when it comes to Mystics working with Variant 5, Spider-Verse and all that stuff. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about all this content being released, people are always looking for answers. So
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of people looking for answers next week.
Absolutely. Right, there we go. That has been a podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And you can catch us on all the relevant things, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and whatnot. And we'll be back next week for a new episode. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.